Hey everybody, Dirili here. Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Hakuoki Kyoto Wins along Hajime Saito's route. In the last episode, we had all my favorite scenes with him, well, pretty much most of them, and the prettiest pictures. But there's still more to go along here, so let's move on to this first choice we've come to after what we went through before. You can just sit back, relax, and let me read you a story. So let's see here, we want to decide to stay home. And here I want to help. Trust Hijikata. And stay and talk since Hijikata so kindly arranged this date for us. Saito had been ordered away from the Shinsengumi for the duration of his assignment. This was the first time I'd been able to see him in a while, and there was no way to know when he'd return. The fact that I didn't know when I might see him again made me reluctant to turn around and leave. Saito?
What is it?
Why'd you stop smiling? I'd like to stay and talk for a bit, if that's okay with you.
Talk? To me?
What, nobody's ever talked to you before? Yes.
I don't think I'd have anything to talk about to entertain you, though.
But you like to talk about swords. Oh, no need. Just a normal conversation is fine, or even just being by my side is enough. Saito stared at me for a while, but eventually...
I suppose that's all right. Not here, though.
Huh? I opened my mouth to ask, but he was already walking away. Quickly, I jogged to catch up. Yamaguchi, please wait. I actually remembered to say the right name. I rushed to follow him.
This should be far enough.
We reached a small back street and he stopped. Looking back, I could still see Tenma, but there weren't many people about, and the streetlights didn't reach us. Standing in such a narrow street forced us in somewhat closer quarters than normal. Why are we out here?
My duty is to guard Miura, and we don't know when he might be attacked. Hijikata sent you because you won't be noticed. Unfortunately, I don't have that same luxury. My face is well known, and if I'm spotted, our plan is ruined.
That's true. Sorry, I didn't think of that.
Don't worry about it. It's my job to think of these things. Your responsibilities lie elsewhere. Why else do you think I'm assigned these sort of missions? There's nothing for you to be ashamed of, and therefore no need to apologize.
Right. Saito is always so matter-of-fact. I heard that he was around the same age as Okita or Heisuke, but... why is he so mature? 'Cause he's a real man. It's so weird.
Yukimura.
Yes? What is it?
How are things at home? Anything out of the ordinary?
Well, everyone's been busy lately after all that happened. I guess things are pretty restless right now.
I imagine so. Even without our recent losses, our numbers were significantly reduced.
Yeah. Our conversation stopped again. I blew into my hands since they were so cold to the point of pain.
Are you cold? Then why don't you start heading back soon?
Why don't you just warm me up? I'm fine. I want a little more time.
But...
I don't get to go out like this often.
Oh, but... if you want to go back to your room, then... No, don't mind me.
Saito's curt words made me feel relieved. There's no way he wasn't cold under this harsh weather, but... I guess it's being considerate for me, who never gets to go outside often. Saito eventually spoke up again.
How's Heisuke?
I'd expected him to ask eventually. What man in his position wouldn't have been concerned for his friend? Well, as far as I can tell, he's still the same person he was before. I mean, he's a little different, just because he can't be up and about during the day. But I was about to say I don't know what would come of him, but caught myself. I realized that it had a very eerie undertone to it, so I rushed to close my mouth shut.
What is it?
Oh, nothing. Our conversation stopped yet again. Saito looked up at the sky and stared at the light emanating from the moon. Saito? Can I ask you something?
What is it?
If you got injured like Heisuke or Sanin, or if you had to help your friends, would you drink the water of life?
Yes, if that was what duty demanded of me.
He showed no hesitation. Indeed, he hadn't even taken a second to answer. That worried me. But...
Did that answer surprise you?
No. I had a feeling that's how Saito would have answered. When Ito had left, he followed Hijikata's orders and acted as a spy. When he returned, all the things the other warriors had said hadn't fazed him, and he just diligently followed orders. It's almost as if nothing ever phases him.
Look.
In one smooth movement, he drew a sword from its sheath. Another beautiful picture. All of his pictures are so good. And he's always so beautiful in them. Moonlight glinted off the blade, bright but cold.
This sword has drawn blood, great rivers of it. Even I can't remember the springs that fed them.
His voice was quiet and hard.
I have killed my enemies and my allies, too many to count. I have no doubt that I will die in battle. Such is karma. The course of my life would not change if I were to drink the water of life and become a fury. I live by the sword, and one day I will die by it, fury or no. That's all there is to it.
There seemed to be no emotion attached to the thought of his own death. But this sword has also protected me. Saito silently listened. I know I don't have any right to say that killing people is bad, but you've used that sword against others to protect me. I share your karma. I'm alive because someone else is dead. Even so, I still want to live. I want my friends to live. I want you to live. Even if that means someone has to die. Does that make me a bad person?
No. If what you desire is life, how can you be wrong? All too often, doubt is little more than a poison.
Saito eventually put his sword away.
We've been out here too long. It's time you return to the Shinsengumi, and I return to Miura.
Oh, okay. Without warning, he turned, walked to an empty section of road, and stopped.
Yamazaki, Shimada, you're there, right?
Huh? Ah, caught again.
The sun's gone down.
You ruined Hijikata's plan.
If you stick to the shadows, you're going to put her at risk. Just escort her personally.
In response to Saito, Yamazaki and Shimada popped out.
Understood.
Yamazaki? Shimada? Why are you two here?
Orders from Hijikata. Why else? Of course. How long have you known? Since you got here. I've done your job plenty of times, you know. I see. We've stayed too long. You better move.
I called out to Saito one last time as he headed back toward the Tenma Inn. Saito! He stopped walking and I called out toward his back. Good luck. And please don't die. It was hardly something he would have cared to hear, but I meant every word of it. It may be his wish to die during his mission, but I wanted him to know. Eventually, he quietly turned to look my way. He didn't mind it at all.
Be safe.
For a moment, I thought I saw a smile cross his face. With Saito gone, we turned and made our way back toward the Shinsengumi. January 3rd, 1868. I was busying myself in the compound around the time the men began to return from their patrols.
Hey, we're back. Looks like Kyoto's winters are as rough as ever.
Oh, welcome back, guys.
Oh, I'm getting really tired of those Satsuma bastards. We ought to be sitting in a nice warm room getting drunk, not out here stamping up fires. You know, I haven't even gotten any zoni this year.
He continued muttering angrily to himself as he pulled off his coat and hung it up.
Oh, Nagakura, you haven't stopped talking about zoni once all day. Well, can you think of anything better to do during New Year than eat mochi and sleep? Or maybe, do you think Satsuma doesn't celebrate the New Year's?
How was it out there?
There are no serious problems for now.
I see. Saito's reassurances allowed me to relax if only a little. I had no idea what might happen in the days to come, but I thought it would be nice to at least enjoy the New Year's festivities in peace. I just let out a small sigh of relief when a noise like a small thunderclap sounded from somewhere outside the compound. Breathed too soon.
That was gunfire, wasn't it?
The earlier good humor evaporated, and every face in the room turned toward the source of the sound, tense and serious.
So, it's finally started, huh?
That gunshot was the beginning of what would later become known as the Battle of Tobo Fushimi. We later learned that the Satsuma had opened fire on shogunate soldiers attempting to enter Kyoto, but at the time we heard it, we knew nothing.
Who do you think fired that shot? I should go out there.
Calm down. We won't do anything until the commander returns. Understood? Fine, but someone needs to tell the rest of the men. Might as well be me, unless...
We already read all this, but it's still making us reread it again. Saito nodded, and Harada ran off. Within moments, the atmosphere in the magistrate's office had changed. What should I do?
Well, you should probably...
Then it happened. Eee! A deafening explosion tore through the air, and the building itself shook. It was no gunshot this time.
What the hell was that? It wasn't an earthquake, was it? No, couldn't have been. But that means...
Saito and Nagakura looked at one another, then ran off out the door of the building.
So, what's going on? What the hell?
I could hear their voices outside. What was going on? Ah! A cluster of shots rang out, and I jumped. Saito returned, his placid face even more stern than usual. Oh, Saito, what's going on?
There's a cannon in the Ryuin temple. It has to be the Satsuma.
A cannon? No! Ah! The wall shook again as the cannon's thunderous report tore through the air.
Damn it, if this keeps up, we're toast.
He swore in frustration.
Can't we just go over there and take their cannon, Shinpachi?
Maybe, but it'll be tough. They've got a lot of small firearms, too.
Isn't there some way we can make them stop shooting at us? I mean, couldn't we shoot back at them with a cannon or something? You don't think they would have thought of that? It was a foolish idea, and I knew it, but I felt so useless just standing around and screaming. I had to do something. Be quiet and let the people who know what they're doing handle things?
We have a cannon, yes.
Well, then, can't we just shoot at them? You don't know your physics, woman.
Yes, but it won't be very effective.
Why not?
They set themselves up on the high ground. If we fire from down here, we'd be lucky to reach them. Besides, Ryuin is surrounded by forest. The trees are a natural shield.
Oh, no. Then, there was nothing we could do? We just had to sit here and let them attack us? That was when Shimada ran in.
We're in trouble. The Satsuma are trying to surround the magistrate's office.
Saito sucked at his teeth, and I could see his mind working furiously, searching for a solution.
Building's taking a lot of punishment. They keep this bombardment up, and it's all coming down.
Hijikata appeared short of breath and wearing his headguard and Shinsengumi uniform. Hijikata!
Kondo put me in charge when he left, and I think he wanted us to still be around when he came back. We're going on the counterattack.
His words sent the magistrate's office into a frenzy.
Finally, it's about goddamn time. Oh, I've been getting real tired of sitting around while they shoot at us. Hard to feel like a man that way.
Alright, what's the plan? Are we gonna shoot him with our cannon?
No point shooting from here. We're gonna have to take it up to the front line. We get lucky, maybe we can take their cannon while we're at it.
That's more like it.
Let's do this! Those Satsuma punks better watch out!
They all seemed more than ready to fight, but something still worried me. Saito? How many men do they have? If you can take their cannon, will we win?
Our side has nearly 15,000 men. From what I understand, The Satsuma and Choshu have only a third that at most.
Then we can't lose, right? Saito's mouth thinned to a tight line, and he looked at me for a moment before he answered.
One cannot always achieve victory through force of arms.
Actually, that's what they have, force of arms. We have numbers. I was about to ask him what he meant when Hijikata began to call out orders.
Don't let those honorless bastards out there put even a foot inside this building. Stay calm, and we can beat them. Gen, you stay here. I'll be taking the rest of our men and going after their headquarters. No problem, Toshi. Just leave it to me.
He nodded and trotted off toward the entrance.
Our best intelligence puts the enemy headquarters at Gokunomiya Shrine. Unfortunately, between us and them is a big hill, and they've got a bunch of guns dug in on top of it. They'll pick us off if we climb up. There's only one way we're breaking through.
Hijikata's voice trailed off, but all the men around understood what that silence implied. If they were to win, they would have to thrust their forces into the heart of the enemy encampment, and that would mean running straight into a line of gunfire. The men who left to go on the attack would be facing a good deal more danger than those who were left at the magistrate's office. There was a moment of silence before Nagakura fixed Hijikata with a confident look and spoke.
Sure thing, Commander. I could take care of that. Are you sure, Shinpachi? Well, someone's got to do it, right? Might as well be me. It's better than sitting around here and getting pounded at least.
He gave Hijikata a grin, then turned to his men in the 2nd Division.
Sorry, guys, but it looks like your captain just volunteered to get us all shot to hell. But hey, at least we'll go off to the next life together. What are you apologizing for, Captain Nagakura? I am a samurai. I'm always prepared to give my life for victory.
Saito looked up as Shimada spoke. Was something wrong? I thought perhaps he looked as if he wanted to say something, but it could have just as easily been my imagination.
Alright, the 2nd Division will be leading our main thrust against the encampment. I want you to attack Gokunomiya Shrine. No sweat. You just leave that to us. It'll take more than a couple Satsuma bullets to kill Shinpachi Nagakura.
Well, when you go in, the 10th Division will be there to support you, so don't worry about your flank, alright?
We're off then.
With grins and more playful banter, Nagakura, Shimada, and Harada sauntered outside and out of sight. The roles they were playing were very dangerous, and they were really risking their lives. But neither Nagakura nor Shimada showed a sign of fear. I'd always wondered, how could they go in with such bravery? I saw a muscle in Hijikata's jaw twitch as he watched them go. Then he turned toward the rest of us.
Saito, take your men and head for Ryuin Temple. We're screwed unless you can silence that cannon.
Understood.
His voice was as flat and measured as ever. Whatever he might be thinking, it was impossible for me to guess. Hijikata, what should I do? I tried asking Hijikata, but Saito interrupted.
Stay here. There's no guarantee you'll come out of this alive if you follow us into battle.
Besides, I'm supposed to take care of the injured as always. Oh. He turned on his heel without so much as a goodbye and headed for the Ryuin Temple. It wasn't going to be an easy fight. Would they even return alive? This was the first time the Shinsengumi had fought such a large force, as well as the first time they'd faced guns and cannons. I believed in their skill, but I couldn't help feeling a certain amount of trepidation. With little else to do, I fell to praying for their safety and lost myself in my worries. You're demoralizing yourself. I don't know how much time had passed. I felt a hand on my shoulder.
Are you alright, Yukimura? You look down.
Oh, Inoue.
Are you worried?
Yes. I know they're soldiers. They've been in danger before, but this is different. There's all those guns out there, and a cannon. I'm scared some of them might not come back.
You don't need to worry, they'll be back.
You really think so?
I know so. A samurai never goes back on his word, no matter what happens. Nagakura and Shimada knew that when they volunteered for this mission. That sort of honor is a rare thing these days, but they have it, so does Saito. A samurai, no, a man, would never do anything to make a girl sad, and these men are true samurai. Trust them to make it back to you. You don't need to worry about them.
His words helped to calm my doubts. It was natural for me to worry, but I had forgotten that they were all talented, intelligent men, capable of forging their own destinies, not frightened boys sent off to a war subject to the whims of fate. Courage in the face of death was a true samurai's greatest asset, and they had courage aplenty. You're right. I believe in them. They'll come back safely. The words were only just out of my mouth when Yamazaki ran into the magistrate's office, his face drawn.
Is something wrong, Yamazaki?
The men they've got guarding their headquarters are all armed with rifles. We'd have gotten shot before we even got close. There was nothing we could do.
I see. That's not good. If most of their forces are riflemen, then they should have trouble aiming after the sun sets.
After the sun sets, do you mean? He nodded solemnly.
We're going to have to deploy the Fury Corps.
It looks like that's our only chance.
We need to tell Sanin and Todo. Yamazaki, please come with me.
Yes, sir.
Sometime later, the Fury Corps moved out under Sanin's command. They did have strength far beyond any humans. Perhaps they would be able to turn the tables. So, why don't I feel relieved? Something still felt wrong. This battle was unlike anything I experienced before, and my mind was still racing to catch up. I felt as if I was missing something important, but what? A gunshot sounded from the entrance. Our men would have no reason to fire, which means it had to be...
The main body of the Shinsengumi has gone off to fight somewhere else.
The commander says now's our time to attack the magistrate's office. Let's go!
Only moments after the soldier's voice reached me, Yamazaki ran into the room, his eyes wide.
Inoue, we have to do something. If we could get just one division to come back.
But who can go fetch them? We can't leave the magistrate's office unguarded.
I'll go. You can...
Inoue shook his head.
No, I can't let you go. I hate to admit it, but I can't hold them off on my own.
That's true, but...
Yamazaki frowned and began pacing back and forth. I'll take the case.
Gah.
Once again, the deafening thunder of the cannon shook the magistrate's office. If the bombardment continued, we were surely done for. I'll do it. I'll deliver the message.
No, it's too dangerous.
But who else is there? I know I'm no good in a fight. I mean, I can barely protect myself, and it'd be difficult for me to take down a warrior from the Satsuma or Choshu, but I think I could probably make it to Gokunomiya, a ruined temple, without being discovered. And I was a demon after all. If I was wounded, it would heal quickly. In fact, I could probably take 1 or 2 bullets and not die, depending on where it hits. If one of you leaves, then we won't have any hope of mounting a defense when the Satsuma attack. But if I go, you'll still be at full strength, and I wouldn't be fighting anyway even if I did stay here.
That's true. There's no one else we can afford to send away.
Inoue seemed torn, but it took him only moments to make up his mind. He wasn't happy about it, but we all knew there was no time to waste.
Very well. Go then.
Right.
Gokunomiya will be too dangerous, though. Head for Ryuin Temple and try to find Saito. I want you to explain the situation to him and ask him to return immediately. Got that?
Yes, sir.
We'll try and draw the attention of the Satsuma nearby. You should be able to slip out the back.
Right. Thank you. You can count on me.
If we can take this place, the Shinsengumi's dead. Let's go.
They won't get a single man in here. We'll see to that.
A gun's useless if it can't hit anything. Let's see how they handle some real fighting.
I said a silent prayer of thanks and protection for Inoue and Yamazaki and ran for the back door. Saito, I'm coming for ya! I ran through the darkened forest, the stars and little light beneath the canopy. The night was thick and black, and I could barely see, but fear would have to wait. I had no time. I could hear the cannon fire firing again and again in the darkness. There had to be fighting going on nearby, although I couldn't see it. I hoped fervently that everyone was safe, if I could just make it in time. Oh! I felt someone nearby and slowed to a halt. All around me were men wearing blue jackets of the Shinsengumi, grimacing in pain. It wasn't just a few of them. They had gathered together in groups, spread out through this part of the forest. At the center, Saito stood, sword in hand, his chest heaving. What was going on? I'd never before seen him so tired.
Intriguing. Your skill is impressive. You are only human, and yet you can hold your own against a demon.
That's my Saito for ya. Beyond Saito stood Amagiri, the demon. Oh! I stepped back, and a twig snapped beneath my foot. Slowly, deliberately, Amagiri's gaze turned toward me.
You. What are you doing here? Have you stayed with these men as Kyoto turns into a battlefield?
I chose to ignore Amagiri and turned instead to Saito. Saito, there's trouble. The Satsuma are attacking the Fushimi Magistrate's office.
What?
You have to call off the attack on the Ryuan Temple and rush back to the Magistrate's office right away.
I see.
He inclined his head slightly in acknowledgement, then turned back to Amagiri, his eyes blue slits.
No time to waste then.
The moment the last word was out of his mouth, he leapt forward with tremendous speed, and his sword flickered through the air, heading straight for Amagiri. At first, I didn't believe what I was seeing. Amagiri had caught the incoming blade with his bare hands and flung it aside. Then, in the same movement, he made to chop his hand into Saito's unguarded side.
No.
He deflected Amagiri's blow with his left arm and struck again with his sword.
Gah!
He dodged to the side, avoiding the sword thrust, but Saito took that split-second opening to launch another attack, driving Amagiri back. His steel shimmered in the night, leaping through the air and snaking its way through Amagiri's defenses to strike at his vitals. We got stuff to do. Impressed, huh? The very tip of Saito's sword slid across Amagiri's cheek, and a thin line of blood trickled down his face.
Intriguing. I thought I understood fully that you were an able man. But nonetheless, this is surprising. I'd never thought a human would be able to hold his own against me. You are a warrior of legendary skill, Saito. I doubt there are many demons who could fight toe-to-toe with you.
You overestimate me. I am merely a samurai, and one of little note.
Oh, you underestimate yourself, babe. He paused for a moment to wipe sweat beading off his forehead.
Unfortunately, though your skill is impressive, your strength is still only human. I shall show you just how limited you are by your mortal shell.
What I saw then I could scarcely believe. On Amagiri's forehead, horns appeared, great white things, like what you might see in old books or paintings. His hair turned white, like that of a fury, and his eyes began to glow with a strange otherworldly light. When he spoke, his voice rumbled with a terrible power.
Never before have I shown this, my true self, to a human. But you, Saito, are a human opponent I can respect. You deserve, nay, demand that I fight you with everything at my disposal.
We'd rather not. Then he leapt towards Saito like a bullet from a gun, closing the distance between them in the blink of an eye. He was far, far faster than he had been a moment before. Saito did his best to keep up with Amagiri's blows, but he seemed slower now. No, Saito wasn't slower. Amagiri was just too fast for him.
Is this really the most a human can manage?
Oh, you were impressed with him just a moment ago. He sounded almost disappointed. Saito cried out as Amagiri struck his left arm. Saito! I was about to run up to him.
Stay away. Yukimura, did you forget that you're the one they're after?
Not right now, they aren't.
If I allow this man to take you away, then I have failed my duty.
Oh.
Very admirable. Must be that important if you're thinking of your boss's orders at a time like this. Then, I guess it'd be a real jerk move of me to go easy on you.
Amagiri kicked the ground.
Damn you.
Saito tried to swing with one more defensive blow as Amagiri charged toward him, but even so, Amagiri saw right through him. Then suddenly, before Saito could block, he threw an iron fist punch into him. He ground his teeth and sweat dripped down his forehead. The pain he was feeling had to be incredible. Had Amagiri's blow broken his arm? But he ran toward Amagiri, his sword held high and defiance burning in his eyes.
Reckless.
He batted Saito's attacks aside, one after another, as calmly as if he were waving away flies. Saito was in bad shape. He looked tired, and though he had managed to ignore the pain, his arm still clearly hurt him. Oh god, and unfortunately, we're gonna have to stop here. I hate to stop in the middle of the fight, but it's a long fight. And, you know, I'd end up, reading a really long time if I continued on this. So we're gonna have to stop here and pick up with the rest of this fight in the next episode. So I hope to see you there or in some of my other videos, and I'd be so grateful for any likes, comments, subscriptions, or shares with your friends to show some support. Thank you so much for joining me, and I wish you all health, happiness, and safety. Dirili signing out. Bye bye everybody.